Hello and welcome to the podcast. I am Ben Kaysen here with Joe and Renee Prutch in the studio. How are y'all doing?
Hi, Ben.
Good morning, Ben.
Good morning.
A little more enthusiasm, Joe.
Joe, let's try that again. How are we doing this morning, Joe?
Good morning, Ben.
Oh,
There we go.
Oh, man, that's funny. All right, well, we're back on our business series. Joe and Renee, you guys very much just big leaders here in Pueblo talking about businesses. You started Bruce's Garage, big part of Baskin, Robbins, and PJ's here in town, the owners for those. And we want to talk about today setting the vision for your company.
Okay.
Setting your North Star, setting like where your company's going for you and your employees and defining that and what's that like. So I just want to kind of get into that. Like, why do you think that setting a vision for your company is important?
Go ahead.
Well, setting a vision for the company is like setting a vision for yourself. I mean, it's part of yourself. So setting that vision is intriguing and exciting to doing so.
Yeah.
And what you want to do is what you would want to see for yourself for others.
Gotcha.
And that vision, you set your visions high. That's where I'd go with that.
Yeah, exactly. Your vision, like you said, is your starting point. That's your star that's hanging out there. And what is it going to take to get to that vision? What do you need to put together to reach that goal, that vision? You got to have a lot of determination, a lot of dedication, and you're going to have failure. You're going to have so much failure that discourage you. But here's the deal is if you didn't have the failure, you're not going to learn. And you learn from that.
Gotcha.
So you could get a good nugget out of that failure, and it makes you stronger, it makes you better, and it makes that determination and that dedication and that rising star and that passion even more attainable, that you're going to reach it.
Gotcha.
We were told a long time ago is that, if you're looking over your shoulder at your competitors and worried about others, then you're not the leader.
Right.
So, we've always took that to heart. And even from day one, we've taken that to heart where, if we're looking over our shoulders and worried about the other guy, then we're not the leader. So we've always considered ourselves leaders because we never looked over our shoulders.
Always forward.
And you get people to ask you, hey, well, what's your competitor doing? What's your competitor? And we honestly can say, and we've said it many, many times, I don't worry about that person because if I'm worried about that person, then I'm the follower, not the leader. Wow. So we pride ourselves on that. So that's awesome. That's where we go with it.
Yeah. And it's so very, very true.
It is true.
Because it's easily to get caught up in that. And then I think you lose your focus of your business because then you're chasing their idea. You're chasing their goal. You're chasing whatever they're doing and it's not yours. So everybody has their niche. There's a place in this huge universe for all of us, our ideas, our businesses, our creativity, so don't be afraid of yours. Have confidence in what you have. It's okay to look at what others are doing, but don't compare yourself to that.
Gotcha.
Take what you can from that and say, oh yeah, maybe I can implement that only if it's positive for you. But again, don't compare and don't be a follower.
Don't be a follower.
Gotcha.
Be the leader.
Yeah. So don't let that change your vision if you see somebody else doing something.
Yes. Not. It's so easy to get distracted. It's so easy to get off your vision. I mean, it's amazing. And if you don't write them down and go back to your goals and go back to that vision, before you know it, you're branched out in so many different other directions and you've lost your vision.
Yeah.
So stay core to that. Stay true to that. And always remember that goal and that vision of what's true to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how early in Bruce's Garage did you guys maybe sit down and talk about what your vision is for that? Because I know it started with just you guys, right?
It did, yeah. So Joe actually worked for another garage door company for 10 years.
Yeah.
And I came from a family of self-employed. My dad had a floor covering business. My mom had a crafts business and a store and stuff. So I knew we can do it. I'm like, we could go into business for ourselves. So Joe was building his technical knowledge. He was learning the industry. He was learning his skills. But truly, Joe never felt ready. He never felt like he had enough experience or he had enough knowledge or it was good enough. And it was like, 10 years is good. It is. Yeah. You've done residential, you've done commercial, you've done service, installs. He touched every part of that industry, but he didn't believe in himself enough. So, and I feel a lot of people going into new businesses, that's also what will hold you back.
Yeah.
You could do research after research after research, or want to learn more, and never open it up and never take that first step. So when I told Joe, I did all the business side of it, did the research, found us manufacturers, found us a location, a warehouse with an office, put us in the phone book. And I said, March 1st, 1989, you're showing up. So I made him put his 2 weeks notice in, and he came. But what surprised, I think, him more than anything, but I knew myself that he had it, is that it came natural. Yeah,
well,
we still learned.
I didn't want to fail.
Yeah.
My biggest hang up was I didn't want to fail, and I didn't want to fail the customer. Like Renee's saying is I even though I was, Renee had confidence in my abilities, I didn't want to let the customer down, to go into a problem that I couldn't fix. That was my concern. That was my worry. Yeah. And I didn't want to let the customers down. I didn't want to let myself down. So that was a big hurdle to get over doing so.
But then we learned there's resources out there.
Yes.
So the vendors that we were going to, if we had a question, we could call them up. They were able to answer some questions for us. So there's resources out there to help you out. Again, just don't be afraid. And you've got to make that phone call. And don't be afraid to ask for help. And it's okay.
Every day's learning.
Every day's learning.
I still learn. I still learn the garage door industry.
Yeah.
Being in it over 40 years, I still learn something new every day, and especially with new technology.
Yes.
Maybe I'm not installing or I'm not out in the field anymore, but I learn something new every day. Sure. Every day, and that's gratifying. In learning something new, and that's what keeps you abreast. It keeps it exciting.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, to learn.
So do you think that your vision for Prutch's Garage Company is different today than it was March 1st, 1989?
No. Surprisingly, no. We are so blessed with our garage door business and how we were embraced within the community.
Yeah.
We're so grateful for that. And here's the deal, and I think people need to remember, every day, be your best. Do your best. People are watching, even though you think they're not watching. Develop relationships, positive relationships, because you never know when that one person comes back around that's going to remember you and say, hey, you know what? You treated me really good.
Yeah.
Whatever that situation was. Say you're working at Baskin Robbins and they're a regular customer that comes in and you treat them so respectful, kind, and do your best every single time. Don't you think maybe one day when you're going to go out there and start your career and do your job, maybe that couple is your connection?
Yeah.
And they're going to say, you know what?
I remember you.
I remember you. Yeah. You gave your best, and you are the type of person that I want to help. Versus, and we see this a lot in the stores, is these kids think, oh, it's my first time job. I'm just working at Baskin Robbins, or I'm just working at PJ's. It's not going to take me anywhere. It can. I mean, there's even inside of, again, both these franchises that you could go to work for these franchise corporate side. Yeah. I mean, there's tremendous opportunities that exist every day. You've got to remember that and do your best continuously and look for those opportunities. Remember those opportunities. Constantly be aware of your situation and what you're doing and where you're at. Don't just come in and say, oh, I'm going to play around today on my job. I'm going to be on my phone and I'll wait on a guest, but then I'm going to go sit back down and get back on my Facebook. Yeah. You're actually not growing. You're holding yourself back instead of seeing what opportunity exists for me today and what can I get from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's pleasing the community. It's pleasing the consumer.
Yeah.
And it comes back for you. It comes back to you tenfold.
Yeah, it does.
So you guys getting at something really interesting here. So I originally started out with kind of company vision, but you've kind of gotten into, hey, you need to have your own personal vision for yourself.
Yeah.
At least like you mentioned, like for the Baskin Robbins employee, the one that is out and working really hard and talking to everybody, like they seem to have a better vision of where they want to be compared to the person that's on their phone.
Yes.
Like how important do you think it is to define your own personal vision now compared to a company one? What does that look like?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's more personal. It's a personal endeavor. And when you have that driving force of being the best, and being whatever it is, in for our instance, of garage door business, being the best that you can possibly be, that's the driving force. That's what drives you every day.
Yeah, I agree. And then also too is, what do you want people to remember you as? You know, literally, I worked at a bank. I did vending machines. I did so many different things before we started our garage door company.
Yeah.
And people remembered me from those areas. And they remembered Joe when he was at Overhead Door. So again, you're branding yourself, be it positive, be it negative. And if you brand yourself as hardworking, honest, ethical, doing your best, people are going to help you out. They're going to do anything that they can do for you. So yes, that becomes your personal vision, your personal branding. You know, like I said, what do you want people when my name is mentioned and Joe's name is mentioned? What are they going to say? Oh, you know, he is a nice guy. He, you know, goes out of his way. He's always kind. He does his best with my estimates, my quotes, whatever, versus, gosh, I can't call that company. They are so rude and this and this and this. You have an image, and that image will define you.
Yep. And we got customers that are our best friends that we never met. We've talked to them over the phone for 35 years, 37 years. That been doing business with us, and literally when you talk to them on the phone, you're talking to a best friend. And it probably there's so many that it's that way that we wouldn't know them if we seen them on the street.
Right?
But it's like it's such a comforting feeling to have that kind of comfort. And then we'll have a customer call and say, hey, Mr. Jones said that they've known you for 35 years. Well, they've known us for 35 years through business,
right?
But, not personally.
They know your integrity, what you're doing.
So that's kind of neat.
That's super neat. Yeah. So let's switch back over to the business side now. So say you have your vision set for your company, and you guys have had this happen, I'm sure, with Prutch's Garage, and now you bring in a new employee. You bring in somebody else who maybe hasn't been there through that process of making that vision. What's it like to communicate your vision to them? What does that take?
It takes commitment on our side.
It takes everything you have.
And teaching them. You know, you have to teach them and remind them. And you know, again, they may not intentionally be doing something differently or wrong, and they might not even know that they are. So we'll bring it to their attention, and we'll just say, hey, you got to remember, the name on your truck, the name on your shirt says Prutch's Garage Door. You know, we had a complaint that you were driving a little fast in a residential area. Again, all eyes are on you. You get out of your truck. You weren't very friendly when you went to that customer's home. They call us, and we appreciate that. And then we'll remind our guys, hey, you know, I know you're having a hard day today, whatever, but let's keep it in the truck. Let's do it, whatever we have to do. So again, I think that comes back to we treat them as family, we treat them with respect, and we have high standards that they need to uphold and follow through with. Yeah,
they all don't have the same vision as you. As us, you know, as Prutch's Garage Door, they don't. And that's all reality. They just don't have the same vision as us, and so be it. That's fine. as long as they have the same vision while they're working for us.
Yeah, sure.
Well, because I think their vision could be supporting their family and paying their bills.
Yeah.
And they're there every day for that.
Yeah.
Ours is different because we own the business and stuff like that, and that becomes a different vision for us. So their vision has to fit inside of our vision to make it work.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I agree.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. So just one more time, like maybe now let's talk Baskin Robbins and PJs. You're dealing with 15, 16-year-olds sometimes, just really young, trying to figure this stuff out.
Yeah.
Like if you're in that spot, if you're like 15 or 16 listening to this, how do you define yourself like higher than, hey, I'm just here to get a paycheck? Like what does that look like?
Yeah. Well, so the minimum age to work at either one of those stores is 16.
16. Okay,
yeah.
cool.
And it's just due to the laws.
Oh, sure.
Labor laws. But yeah, for them, and what's simply amazing when we have the interviews with these kids, they're already well-rounded. So they are in school. They're in sports.
Yeah.
They're in DECA. They do volunteer. Yep. They do this, and this, and this. And I'm like, okay, how are you going to fit a job in there? And they're like, oh, I can do it. So those are the kids that we just work with. We are going to do everything we can to help that balance out.
Yeah.
So every week they fill out an availability form based on what they can work. Mm-hmm. Some kids only work 3 hours a week if they're in a particular sport. And then when they're done with that sport, we ask them, okay, now somebody else is going into a sport. You need to pick up some hours. Yeah. So that's why we have more on our staffs on all of our stores is due to that. And our reputation, which I love, is when kids are coming in, picking up applications, they say, hey, we hear that you really work with schedules. Yeah. We hear you really work with whatever I have going on. I'm like, yes, we do. Mm-hmm. And they're like, most places won't. They put out the schedule. You show up for those hours. If you can't work it, you don't have a job.
Yep.
So we provide that balance into there because, again, I'm grateful that they're trying to do it all.
Yeah.
And then that just shows you how strong of leaders they want to be.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, well, I think I got one more question for you. So here at Wake Up, today you guys walked in and we're working on defining ourselves in a few words. So It's just funny that we're going to talk about this after we're working on that some more.
Right.
So the brand of Joe and Renee Prutch, the business owners of Baskin Robbins, PJs, and Prutch's Garage, what do you think are a couple words that you want to be defining you guys? I'm putting you on the spot.
Ethical for one.
Ethical.
I would
ethical.
Say that would be a strong one.
Yeah, very, very strong.
Ethical would be
and we're
top of the list.
Dedicated to helping people.
Yep. Big-hearted. Big-hearted.
Yeah.
And we do put people first.
Dedicated. Yep.
Yeah. I agree with all those things. Yeah. That's awesome. No, I think that's about what I would say for you guys if I was to define what you guys are from just my interactions with you. So
well, thank you, Ben.
That's awesome. Oh man. Awesome. Well, anything else? Any other quick advice when it comes to setting your vision?
No, I don't.
Set them high.
Yeah, exactly.
I say set them high.
And I guess I could say is don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Set them high and don't give up.
And have a good partner.
There you go. You got that. Oh man. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys so much for being on. We appreciate you as always. If you want more advice from Joe and Renee, we've done 3 of these already, so just go check those out because great advice for starting your business or even if you're just thinking about that in the future. We talked about company culture. We talked about taking the jump into your own business as well as we've talked about getting into franchising. What does that look like? So just go check out Joe and Renee's advice for that. And go check out Baskin Robbins and PJs. Real quick, where's Baskin Robbins and PJs here in town?
First location is 2704 South Prairie Avenue, right next door to Prutch's Garage Door. And the second location is 922 East Hailey Lane, Baskin Robbins, and also PJ's Coffee is in the same fourplex out there.
Perfect. So go get yourself some good coffee, get yourself some good ice cream. Yeah, and just go check out all the things you guys are doing. Get some good advice. Thank you guys so much for listening. Have a great rest of your day.